Welcome to the Helicopter Podcast, your go-to source for all things rotorcraft. I'm Halsey Scheider, bringing you the stories, insights, and conversations from around the helicopter industry. Whether you're a seasoned pilot, a maintainer, or you're just passionate about helicopters, this is the podcast for you. You are getting the interest, it does seem. What's been the vibe here at the show? You guys invested the time, effort, and energy to bring a helicopter here. What's been the response? What are people telling you?
What's interesting now in 3 years that I've been attending, and I'll say this is pretty constant even at other events, is we used to have to go and seek people and introduce ourselves. Now, as you mentioned, you saw it this morning at the booth.
Yeah.
We had a crowd.
Yeah.
They're seeking us out.
It was only 10 o'clock. The show just opened.
Yes. So it is amazing. And we're here with our French representative and also our Czech Republic representative, who we've worked with for years. And they are really growing a web throughout Europe to really get our aircraft out there and be our direct line to Europe.
This episode of the Helicopter Podcast is made possible with the generous sponsorship from Metro Aviation and Enstrom Helicopter. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Halsey Scheider with the Helicopter Podcast, and this is another European Rotors edition of the Helicopter Podcast, coming at you from Cologne, Germany. This is a conversation that I've wanted to have for a long time. I think you and I actually started talking on LinkedIn almost like a couple years ago.
Yep, that's right.
So I'm excited to have Todd Tetzlaff, did I say it right?
You did.
From Enstrom Helicopters joining. Todd, it's so good to finally connect and have this opportunity. I really appreciate you coming on to chat with me. This is going to be a highlight for me, I think, of the show, is being able to have this conversation. So welcome.
Well, likewise. This is my highlight as well. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. We're doing good so far. It's a little early. Yesterday, my last podcast, I think I did 5 or 6 yesterday, and I started talking with the owner of Heli Austria, super cool guy, Roy, and we're having a good little banter in the beginning. And I looked down and I wasn't recording.
Ooh.
And so we're already doing better.
Yes, I see a red light.
There's
That's
a
good
red
sign.
light. Cameras are on. The energy's here. Just let's start there. European Rotors. This is your 3rd year. This is my 3rd year as well. I remember seeing you guys in Spain, then Amsterdam last year, and now, of course, here in Cologne, Germany. Let's just talk about Europe a little bit. And this show specifically, how have you seen it evolve in this last 3 years since you've been attending?
With 3 years of experience, the first year was good in Madrid. We had an aircraft there. We were rather new being back into the industry after a bit of a slowdown, to put it mildly. That was a good show for us. It encouraged us to want to come back. Now, last year we were here without a helicopter. We have so much activity at the home base. We were just unable to bring one. Good that we were visible. My counterpart and I, who manned that booth, that was a little sad to not show our wares officially. But we're back. We brought our best, latest and greatest. The 480B Elite is on the floor here, so we're really excited to show it off.
Yeah, in fact, just this morning I was over there. I don't know if you even saw me. You were chatting it up, doing business, I think, and we were kind of sneaking around, getting some fun B-roll, looking in the cockpit. So I'm really excited to talk about the 480 and learn more about it. But let's go back to the very beginning, Enstrom Helicopters. When I think of iconic brands within the helicopter industry, Enstrom is right there. Why don't you just fill us in and our listeners in just a little bit on the history of Enstrom Helicopters?
I love the history. This is good. So our namesake, Rudy Enstrom, was a mining engineer up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. No aviation experience whatsoever, but he decided in the mid-40s that I'm going to build a helicopter.
Why not?
Yeah. And I think it was his passion. It took him years to finally hover, but he did it. And over the course of 15, 17 years, it was a working machine. It wasn't flying far. I think he was still doing a lot of that work in a quarry for safety reasons, but it was gaining some teeth. And by 1959, it was viable and caught the attention of some business people who said, this could be a real certified aircraft. and we became incorporated at the end of 59.
Wow.
The company moved to its current location then, and we've been there ever since. So in aviation, to be around for approaching our 67th year,
Incredible.
right? We are a small player in the industry, but we are a player.
You're a player.
And there are many iconic brands that are no longer with us.
It's true.
So we're very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's, and I think when I hear that story, I remember I've heard that story before. I feel like that Rudy must have had a bit of a grit about him. I'm guessing there's some folklore around Rudy.
Oh, yeah.
And the walls still kind of, maybe have some stories. But I feel like anytime that I've met with anyone from Enstrom, it's like that same kind of grit, right? You guys are so passionate. You're so
Absolutely.
excited. It's a different feeling from an OEM. I get the opportunity to have a lot of neat conversations with a lot of people at OEMs, and they're all great, right? Everyone's unique, but something that's really unique about you guys is like there's really like a culture around it. It seems like the employees have fairly long tenure. Like you said, you've been in the same has it been the same location since 59?
Yes. Absolutely.
Same location. Just talk to me a little bit about that, this culture. How does it's one thing to have a company last for 67 years, but how do you have a culture that continues to be so strong?
It is. It's really amazing. So we have some very high tenured people at the company. The oldest one there, my mentor for years. I worked with him in flight test. He calls himself a mechanic, but he's the best engineer I ever worked for.
Mm-hmm.
Been there since 68. It's crazy. And there's other high tenured people. I started there in 90 with a drafting pencil.
Wow.
And I've been there on and off many years. Some have stayed continually. I've stayed on and off. But like you said, the culture. I spent years at Boeing, many years at Gulfstream. Another iconic brand.
Very iconic.
Huge company that, while that is a family, there is nothing like this. We are currently still under 200 employees in a small community. Some may say in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
We're not a hotbed of aviation. So when you are involved in a product this cool,
yeah,
it sticks. And you tell your family and you tell your kids, your friends, I work at Enstrom. I build something that flies out that back door.
What is the community like around Enstrom? Like just the local community of non-Enstrom employees. I mean, is it a special brand for them as well?
Oh, it is. The company, the area kind of adopted us. So we have other industry there, a lot of automotive machining and whatnot. We have a shipyard that builds Navy ships.
Very cool.
That employs 10 times more than what we have. However, we're aviation. You see our helicopters flying around town all the time. And the name, you wear your badge swag from work, and you usually get a comment about
awesome.
My grandfather worked there, or I want to work there.
Very cool. Yeah, you gotta love that. I mean, that's again just goes back to this family-like business, right? Mm-hmm. And it's still crazy. I mean, Rudy must have been a character.
I wish I got to meet him.
I mean, what's a guy that's mining? Obviously a very smart guy.
Yes.
To have an idea to build a helicopters, it's kind of a silly idea.
Right. And a number of patents came out of the control system and the swash plate system too. So really one of those iconic individuals. I think Igor Sikorsky.
Yeah. Pioneer.
Yeah. Forget the first name. Young, who worked with Bell and developed the first 40 Bell helicopters. It was right in that same time period when he was doing this, again, in a very remote part of the world without a lot of, no help whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. I feel like there's like a Hollywood movie there.
Oh, I see it. I always say the history of Enstrom could be either a nice coffee table book or a Netflix series.
I like that.
Because there's a lot of drama.
Yep.
There's been a lot. There's been a lot of ups and downs. But I think it'd be a good read.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about some of the recent, right? So I know that, like you said, there was a bit of a slowdown and there was even a changing of guard, so to speak. Let's just start there. Let's talk a little bit about what that was and then who came in. Now it's Chuck, and what is that all about? And then we'll then move towards what's really bright right now, which looks like the future.
Sounds good. Yeah. Back in the early 2012 time frame, Chinese entity purchased Enstrom, which looked to rejuvenate things quite a bit. That was the goal. GA was going to be opening up within China. They had some grand plans.
Yeah.
Invested heavily into the infrastructure at our company, and then that fell flat. And that was a period when I was not there. I think you may have heard details in the past of some of the ups and downs, but eventually that GA opening in China faltered, did not occur, and the interest of that entity in providing the funding needed fell flat as well. So the company actually closed its doors, went Chapter 7 in early 2022.
I remember it.
And
sad.
It was. Even though I wasn't there, an aside, I mentioned the fella who's been there since 68.
Yeah.
Even in the years I've been gone and moved away, we always found time to go to breakfast.
Really?
At least once every few months.
I love that.
Like you said, the family aspect. But it fell. Doors closed. Chuck Surak, renowned music retailer.
Probably responsible for,
I imagine.
There's probably some patents in here.
Right. Started in his microbus recording, accomplished musician himself, and then turns it into the largest online retailer of musical instruments.
Crazy.
And where we are now with his ownership is amazing, because we have had multiple owners over the years.
Sure.
Good, bad, different philosophies, different ideas on where the company should go. Some very wealthy, some very passionate.
Yeah.
And now with Chuck, we have both.
Yeah, both, which is nice.
It is magical. It really is.
Was Chuck a consumer of Enstrom?
Yes. He learned to fly in an Enstrom.
So that was where his passion for Enstrom kind of came from.
Yes.
So he just loves the product.
Yes.
I remember very vividly when the news broke. It felt sad to me. Again, an iconic brand. You don't want to see that kind of struggle. And the Chinese thing is very interesting, because that same time, China, I do used aircraft sales. That's where my real job when I'm not doing this. And there's a stockpile of helicopters in China, Bell's, Airbus product. They bought in huge quantities, and they're now just sitting there. I mean, we're talking about, LGX, GXs and A-Stars. It's like just sitting there, because they really thought that there was going to be this big explosion of the GA market. So very interesting. And I didn't realize, I guess it had been some time since I heard that story. So I forgot that the Chinese involvement. So it makes a lot of sense. So Chuck is passionate. He comes into the company. Did you then come back in the company at that same time? Were you, did you seek that? Did they seek you? How did you then get back involved? Because you were, at that time, I think you came in as the CEO, correct?
Thank you to our sponsor, Metro Aviation. Metro Aviation, the world's largest family-owned aeromedical operator, offers comprehensive aircraft services with 140-plus aircraft in over 25 states. The Completion Center installs medical and law enforcement kits and avionics, serving diverse aviation needs including offshore, utility, VIP, and corporate sectors.
Correct. Yeah. May is when Chuck purchased the company. And again, it being a family, even though I was down in Savannah, Georgia, always keeping tabs on it in the media or through friends, and very happy for the company. And the existing CEO at that time, in August, I get a phone call. I said, oh, okay. Not terribly surprised. I thought maybe there's some supporting role they might need assistance with. But no, he said he was retiring and that he thought I should throw my name in the hat.
Wow.
So I did. And likewise, at the same time period, our current CEO, Adam, put his name in the hat, or was sought after as well. And we teamed up, and actually it was rather genius. Before either of us committed to coming, we interviewed each other.
Interesting.
And really had a book report we had to do on our thoughts and where we thought we each felt where we fit in the company and where our roles would be. So Adams brings years and years of Rolls-Royce experience, manufacturing experience, And I brought more of the knowing the product, knowing the industry, and that worked really well. So a year ago, we kind of swapped. We had 2 C-level folks coming, and Chuck Surek said, we only need 1. I said, okay. So really nothing's changed for me. Again, Adam is that nuts and bolts person, the financial person, and I am here trying to spread the good news of Enstrom.
Spread the word, man.
Right.
The Enstrom gospel.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, that's interesting. I remember seeing that press release about a year ago. And when you came back in then, when Chuck came in, what were the early months like under Chuck's new vision?
Well, Chuck's very hands-off. So other than a few visits here and there or a visit down to Fort Wayne, it was our baby to run. And obviously with his support and approval, with ideas and certification was the big key. We had open projects that had been open even before the company closed that literally needed to be complete. Crash-resistant fuel system being one, mandated by the FAA or by Congress. That was a big one. And then Chuck has a wish list as well. We are reattacking that commercial private owner versus necessarily those military sales that have been our bread and butter. And that is the elite that we have on the floor today. So that's a new glass cockpit, Garmin based with Howell EIS. That's been in development. Air conditioning, autopilot, plus prettying the machine up a little bit too. So that's been the goal. But again, certification took much longer. The challenge is always there. Numerous factors made it even more challenging. But I'm happy to say we just announced FA cert on the CRFS this morning.
Really?
We did.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That's congratulations.
Thank you.
I know, I don't know, but I know from conversations that certification is really a bottleneck for a lot of OEMs. And it's creating a lot of issues around the entire industry. And so what do you think we could do as an aviation community to make certification? I'm not asking for an easier process, but what could happen to streamline things? Is it just because there's so much bureaucracy dealing with the federal government? What is it from your perspective?
Bureaucracy, and then I think there are long-standing repercussions from the 737 MAX.
Yeah.
And I'll also add COVID to that as well. Because in that time period, you saw an embattled FAA, rightly or wrongly so, embattled, where there was a lot of exits. A lot of folks took the exit. They didn't, the FAA personnel, the high years of experience, took an early retirement, left a gap, a huge gap.
Yeah.
And then you end up with work from home capabilities. And the new folks coming in, and I witnessed this firsthand working at my previous employer, being involved with certification, where we were always trying to share what we do with our FAA brethren. And the level of expertise was vastly diminished. And what was missing with work from home is these younger, fresh individuals didn't have that ability to go to the coffee machine and talk with the guy who'd been there for 30 years.
Yes.
Or lean over the cube and say, hey, I've not seen this. Have you? And that engineering, the passing of that engineering knowledge and cert knowledge was missing.
Yeah.
It's starting to get better. One thing we've done since we reopened, and Chuck's allowed me to do, is become very active in Gamma. In fact, I'm going to run from this and head to the Rotorcraft subcommittee meeting with YASA and other industry folks.
So for our listeners that might not be familiar with Gamma, let's talk about that a little bit.
General Aviation Manufacturers Association.
And is that the same organization that the VAI, the former VAI president?
Yes, Jim Viola
went?
Transferred from VAI and now runs the Gamma organization.
And so what is that, or how is that organization then helping? Is it with going, knocking doors in Washington, D.C. and pushing? What is your involvement?
In some cases, that is true. We do knock door to door. We have assistants. We have a stronger voice. Enstrom's position within the industry is a smaller position, but it amplifies our voice. And one thing that we find, whether you're big or small, those challenges with certification are the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that everyone struggles with.
Yes.
And so you all gain to win.
Yes.
By coming together.
Yes. So we trade ideas. We find those shortcomings and challenges that are the top priorities for us. We are given the ability to meet then with the different regulators with one voice and debate, negotiate, share our woes, offer assistance to them as they learn our product line as well. And it's been very fruitful.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's important. I had, I believe his name is Cade on the show actually last year in Europe.
Okay.
And we chatted, and I honestly didn't understand exactly what VAI did, to be honest. And it was really enlightening to have a conversation with him specifically, and being part of the governmental affairs and, really pushing and advocating. It's, it's so important. I think that we're in a really unique time right now with a lot of struggles, certification. I think that pilots and mechanic shortages, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that are wanting to jump in the industry. And I think helicopters are even a greater subset of that, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're a little bit of the redheaded stepchild. No offense to those out there. I don't have any hair, so I don't have a dog in the fight. But I had an interesting conversation recently with a mechanic friend that, he was saying, like, when they do their training, if they go to, say, a formal, school to get their A&P or their IA, whatever, it's all airplanes. And then it's like one day there's a Schweitzer in the corner or something, and they're, okay, go touch that thing,
Right.
It's like it's a day, Yes. And then somewhere along the way they stumble into helicopters. And so I'm hoping that with my podcast and with other social media influencers and like people out there and exposing young people to the industry, I'm really hoping we can capture those because this is a wonderful industry.
It is.
And it's highlighted when you come to these events, right? All the different people. And I think it's one of the cool things about the podcast that I never really thought of. I never thought about, I get to connect with all these amazing people doing amazing things in the industry. And it just only makes me more excited about the industry.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't, it seems like it's a slow time for us a little bit in the industry. So I'm hoping that, I can play a small part in bringing people in, companies like you that are building, amazing machines and exciting machines. That's a big part of it. And then, of course, advocating with our elected officials.
Yes.
And making sure that, our industry isn't overregulated, and that we're supported and things are happening. I think helicopters have a PR problem. Sometimes they do. And it's our job to be kind of that voice behind it.
Yes.
So I'm excited to talk, of course, about the 480 and the Elite and learn more about that. But first, I just want to rewind a little bit and talk about you. You started with Enstrom in 1990.
Yes.
And then you've had some gaps in between. But what is your background? Where did you start in aviation? And what's been your path?
Oh, all right. Aviation, I discovered throughout my childhood that most of my toys were airplanes or helicopters.
Sure.
Right? I had the Hot Wheels, I had the Matchbox cars and all that, but it was the things that flew were it for me. So first flight, memorable in a Cessna as a kid, Civil Air Patrol in high school.
I was Civil Air Patrol as well.
Ended up able to get the fixed wing private while in high school.
Really cool.
And have terrible vision. So
it's not funny,
back
but I'm sorry.
then
my vision's actually going. I'm noticing now in this last 6 months that I'm starting to not see as well. Not like dramatically, but even here at the show, I'll be looking around.
I'm corrected, great, but back in the day, the medical requirements, even for a second class medical, had an uncorrected vision requirement, and I blew through that. I always said I had to get my IFR rating first because I couldn't see anything. But yeah, Embry-Riddle was the school I went to for engineering technology, aircraft focused.
Florida or Arizona? Cool.
Florida.
I did 1 year.
Nice.
I'm a 1 year college guy.
Perfect.
But I enjoyed it.
Because I like engineer by trade, but I wasn't into the math. This program offered a lot less. One less calculus, one less this, but more lab time.
Yeah,
and that's what I liked. But growing up right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin,
Packers guy?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. I was born within sight of Lambeau Field.
Really?
Yes.
That is incredible. I mean,
yeah.
my lifetime dream is to go to a game.
Oh.
I'm from Oregon.
Okay.
I should be a Seahawks fan, right? That's the closest proximity.
Right.
When I was a little kid, we're a big football family.
Uh-huh.
When I was a little kid, I remember the first game that I remember watching and understanding. It was the Cowboys versus the Packers.
Ooh.
And the Packers won.
Oh, yeah. I can visualize this.
Since that day, I don't know, I was maybe 5 years old or whatever. I was a diehard Packers fan.
Oh, for real?
I mean, a diehard.
Well, we're going to make this happen.
I would love that. One of my good buddies back home, Richard. This is Richard's second shout out on the podcast. He's a wildland firefighter. He's awesome. And he's from Wisconsin. He's a diehard cheesehead as well. Quick tangent. I just got to talk about it. But
yeah,
this is why I love the Green Bay Packers. Is when I was 12 years old, we went on a Cabo trip with my family. And there was a very intoxicated man and woman in the pool. And get to talking. And he finds out that I love the Packers. Well, he's from Green Bay. And I didn't understand drunk people when I was 12. And he's like, oh, we're going to send you this and we're going to do that. And, I'm sure my parents were like, okay. And they gave the address. 6 months goes by, nothing. Christmas Eve, my parents get a box from this guy. And there's every Packers swag. I mean, there's a poster signed by every player. There's cheeseheads, jerseys, cheesehead cup holders, everything. I mean, you name it, it was there.
Oh, you just gave me shivers.
And it was like, man, that's Packers, right? That's like the true fandom ship.
Yes.
And it's a publicly owned team, which I think is also really cool.
Yes.
So sorry for the tangent. I liked you a lot already, but now I really like you.
Oh, ditto. I'm with you. I'm going to add to that, though. My grandfather and my dad were at the Ice Bowl.
Really?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's in your blood.
Green and gold runs deep, for sure.
Deep. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. How many games have you gone?
I used to go a lot as a kid. Back in the 70s, Packers weren't really doing well.
Yeah.
It was easy to get tickets. Went with my dad a lot.
Yeah.
And now I try to go with somebody in my family at least once a year.
That's the kind of the problem with sports now. You take a family of four to an NFL game, and you're out $1,000 pretty quick.
I have 3 kids, so when they were growing up, I took one. It was a dad and kid thing for their very first game. So very memorable.
Very cool. So you grew up in an eye shot of Lambeau.
A few miles out, but born there. Right there.
You get your pilot's license.
Yes.
In high school. I'm sorry I cut you off, and your train of thought. Then what?
Thank you to our sponsor, Enstrom Helicopter Corporation. Enstrom Helicopter Corporation welcomes the new 480B Elite to its fleet, fully loaded with all the top-of-the-line features, including Garmin G500H, electric air conditioning, Genesis 3-axis autopilot, exclusive paint and interior, and more. Secure your spot at enstromhelicopter.com.
Then what? Embry-Riddle, finishing up, and 91, I'm finishing. I started at Enstrom as a student, intern, and there's nothing. Let me back up. How did I get into Enstrom? The Long Beach, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas at the time was just getting rid of people. It was a terrible time to graduate as an engineer.
Interesting.
And people who were doing internships, you had to either go to St. Louis, you had to go somewhere. I couldn't afford that at all. It's like, what am I going to do? I was moving furniture out of Summers. I said, that's getting old.
Yeah.
What can I do? So I remembered that there was this little helicopter company about 55 miles north. Didn't know the name of it, had heard of it. I had seen a couple flying around and went through an old paper aviation directory and found it. Found the name of the VP of engineering. And I remember vividly putting quarters in a machine at one of the classroom lobbies and trying to call and disguise my voice as a real adult.
Hello.
Say, may I please speak to the vice president, please? And it never worked and I did this for weeks until one day it did. And then I didn't know what the heck to say. But I said,
so shit, he answered.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a student. I'm from here. Blah, blah, blah. I'll sweep your floors for you.
Yeah.
I would just like to get in. So gave me a drafting pencil. And that was right when we were working on the TH-28, which was the precursor to the 480B. initial design of that turbine helicopter, and came back after graduation, played with those ships at the shipyard across the way a little bit, but then back again in the 90s. Spent some time in Wichita with some fixed wing folks, and migrated back to work in their flight test department for 7 years, back in the early 2000s. But then the other half of my career was with Gulfstream as well. So I like to think I bring that larger company certification aspects here. And again, their problems as a big company and our problems or challenges with cert are very, very similar.
What did you do at Gulfstream?
I was an engineer. I was a flight test or a flight analyst with the DER, the FA, and also structures, and worked within their ODA, really managing 230 some.
Were you in St. Louis?
No, I was in their Appleton facility for 10 years and 5 years down in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I sold some aircraft for a news helicopter company that's out of St. Louis.
Okay.
And I went to they're actually out of, I think, Illinois, like right across the river. But there's a large Gulfstream facility there. And it's kind of an interesting thing because it's kind of a sad community right there. And then there's this giant Gulfstream.
Gulfstream logo out of nowhere.
Like extreme poverty, and then the Gulfstream. Yeah. But so Gulfstream, tell me just a little bit, what was Enstrom like in the 2000s? I mean, what was that like at that time?
That was interesting because I'd come back. Again, we ended up raising our kids in Menominee, Michigan. It was fantastic. They were young. I biked to work. I mean, that's how small this town is. And got to work, with our newest products in the R&D world. And that's right when we discovered, we had created the 480 series out of the TH-28. So that it was a very good trainer. And the very first largest program in its time then was with the Indonesian National Police. Okay. So again, small company, you get to do a little bit of everything. By that time, I was a commercially rated helicopter pilot as well. And we had to make these deliveries to Indonesia. So they got crated up. You bring them. Made a few trips there.
That's fun.
As we're helping them stand up their organization with the 480s.
Tell us just a little bit about Enstrom's offerings. You have, of course, the 480, but talk about just the other options. And then kind of the evolution from, say, piston to turbine.
How far back? Are we starting from the beginning or just what we have in play today?
Let's do what you have in play today.
Okay. Right now we're offering 2 aircraft, 1 piston and 1 turbine. I'll say base aircraft. Now we have different levels and where you want to go with that. The 280FX is our little sports car piston. Lycoming turbocharged aircraft. Seats 3 across if wanted. Great for 2. But can fit 3, and it is really the direct evolution of our very first aircraft, the F-28. There's a sister ship. We are not currently producing F-28F, but it's nearly the same aircraft, but more utilitarian in nature, a little wider cabin. That will be being produced coming up.
Okay.
Then it's the 480 series, I'll say. It's at the 480B level, which we had upgraded the transmission and some of the temperature ratings and its gross weight many years ago. But you can get a 480 model with basic avionics right now. You can step it up with the Signature is what we call it, a 480B. That adds air conditioning. It's really an a la carte of of other features you could have. Now you want to get every bell and whistle you want. We call it the 480B Elite. So that'll give you the bespoke paint job, leather seating, autopilot, air conditioning, full glass Garmin cockpit along with Howell EIS, and a very nice package.
What is EIS for our listeners?
Oh, engine instrumentation system.
So just explain that a little bit more in depth.
So instead of the old round dials that you'd be measuring your torques and temperatures and RPMs, this is all in a nice glass display.
Yeah, very nice.
Very tidy. Has all the cautions and warnings built into it as well. Records exceedances if you want, and a really nice looking system. And that's what people want, right? You don't hop in a car these days and look for an old speedometer and a clicking odometer and a light, right? Everything is screens.
It's glass.
Yes.
Yeah, it's certainly. I mean, it's kind of been the future for a while, right? I mean, that's just been the expectation. What's the power plant for the 480?
We run the Rolls-Royce 250 C20W. So pretty iconic engine, been around forever. She puts out 420 horse, but we derate it down to 305 for 5 minutes and 287 for continuous.
So this is kind of sad, but I have very little Enstrom time.
Okay.
I've only been
we need to work on that.
1 hour.
Okay.
280. So we do need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
I recently had my friend Jeremiah on the podcast.
Oh,
Jeremiah Griffith.
Yes.
I'm sure you're familiar.
I've not met
with
him in person, but how do you miss him on social media?
I was telling him, dude, get off my feed. He's crazy. I mean, he's everywhere, And on the podcast, he's like your biggest fan.
Yes.
Man, he loves the Enstrom helicopter. And to me, just getting to know him, his dad, as well as, his dad's like, 70 something, still flying, crazy. They're helicopter people.
Yes.
It's like in their blood. You can tell by the way he talks, by the way he instructs. And man, he loves Enstrom.
Yes.
And when he talks about it, you can see the passion and the excitement. That's great for you guys. I mean,
it's wonderful.
What an awesome ambassadorship.
Absolutely. He's entertaining, but yet I learned something from almost every
really
segment he puts out. Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm hoping that's hopefully like a gateway, right, for people to discover the aircraft.
Yes.
And see, oh wow, it's a great training aircraft. It's a great platform. It's good for utility. It's good for this, good for that. It's really neat. I was really excited that Jeremiah, he has some other aircraft as well.
Right.
But man, a lot of those videos are in the Enstrom.
Yes. And I agree. We need to put people in their butts in seats when they're training.
Yeah.
Because again, I always equate it to fixed wing. I'm a high wing guy.
Yeah.
And I migrate to high wings. That's what I do. I mean, I've flown the Pipers and whatnot, but that's my thing. You learn in a different brand. That's what you're used to.
Yeah.
You tend to kind of grow up through their product line.
Yeah, 100%. That's the easiest way to get brand loyalty.
Yes.
On your 18th birthday, the Gillette company sends 18-year-old boys a razor, a Fusion 5.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
No kidding.
And I got one. All my friends got one. Yeah. Guess what I still use?
Yep.
The same one.
I was too old. I missed the boat on that one.
It's the brand loyalty and kind of using what you're used to. So you guys have the elite glass, autopilot, leather, air conditioning, all the right things to really attract this private owner market. How are you guys going out there and introducing these individuals, because it's a bit of a crowded market, right?
Yes.
And there's some pretty big players that are in that space. So how do you carve out your segment of that?
Well, as we are reaching the end of some of these certification battles, we have been sharing the load within the company amongst all of us to assist there. Sure. We are really shifting our focus outward now. Hence, we went through the challenge of getting our helicopter here.
Yeah.
We need it here in Europe.
Important.
It needs to be seen, needs to be touched. Same in the United States. We used to have a pretty robust dealer and service center network. Over the previous ownerships, that dwindled. So we have been going out and re-energizing some of those existing entities and seeking new ones as well. And if there is a nugget to the challenges we've had in growing, is we have, in a very measured way, made it known that we are back.
Yeah.
And that we are making constant progress and working through these systems. And what we see now, in fact, my counterpart, who's supposed to be here, stayed behind to handle some of these pursuits that we're working on.
Committed.
Because
it's a daily battle.
It is. Because suddenly, I say there's this pent-up desire where our phone is ringing more than it ever has.
That's amazing.
So we need to focus on that. We need to be responsive. And again, we need that dealer and service center network out there, because you can buy one. And if you're in a remote area and there's no service, then
how do you get service?
It is difficult.
Yeah. So like right now, today, if someone wants to buy a 480 Elite, I want to buy one. How do I do it?
As always, a special thanks to HeliCASTS for producing this podcast. Specializing in helicopter evaluations, faster sales, and superb service, HeliCASTS is the go-to agency for clients expecting immediate results. HeliCASTS' team of helicopter professionals are the best in the business. Using their aviation expertise, a nationwide network, and a proprietary 76-step listing strategy, HeliCASTS will convert your listing from Mayday to payday. Ready to get started? Text HeliCASTS to 1-855-HeliCASTS. That's HeliCASTS to 1-855-735-5226. And a HeliCASTS pilot agent will reach out. HeliCASTS. List it, sell it, done.
I'll take an order over the phone today. No, right now it depends. You could work through one of our dealers. We have some dealers in the States, in different areas, or you could call us at the factory, and we'd be happy to take you through that build process.
Yeah, of course.
So now we're within 6 months.
That's wild.
Yes.
I mean, that's not consistent
No,
among...
no. And I'm being conservative when I say that. So
That's very exciting. And you are getting the interest, it does seem. What's been the vibe here at the show? You guys invested the time, effort, and energy
yes,
to bring a helicopter here. What's been the response? What are people telling you?
What's interesting now in 3 years that I've been attending, and I'll say this is pretty constant even at other events, is we used to have to go and seek people and introduce ourselves. Now, as you mentioned, you saw it this morning at the booth.
Yeah.
We had a crowd.
Yeah.
They're seeking us out.
It was only 10 o'clock. The show
Yes.
just opened.
Yes. So it is amazing. And we're here with our French representative and also our Czech Republic representative, DSA, who we've worked with for years. And they are really growing a web throughout Europe to really get our aircraft out there and be our direct line to Europe.
How important is the European market to Enstrom?
It's really big. We used to have a bigger presence. We still have over 120 aircraft, I think, operational. We some of them are long in the tooth.
Yeah.
They're still running great. The operators are very pleased with them, but we would like to encourage bringing in a little new or having making sure they're supported well enough where they're flying. We can get the word out, because there seems to be quite a market both on the commercial side and on the military trainer side as well.
Interesting. Yeah, very exciting things to come here in Europe, I hope, for Enstrom.
Yes, yes.
What about, I mean, obviously, of course, service centers are very important, but supply chain has been a big issue for a lot of, OEMs. I know that Rolls-Royce right now is even struggling a little bit with some supply chain issues. Things are stacking up and they're waiting on a part, Yeah. And then that kind of is a trickle-down effect. How are you guys doing with just overall part support for the existing fleet?
Much better.
Yeah.
Right? We had to regrow that. One of the problems, there were numerous problems with closing the doors, for sure.
Yeah.
But as the company dwindled prior to that, we were not making orders. We were not placing orders. We were using what we had in stock. So it closes, we come back, and we dust off the phones in purchasing, and we re-engage with these suppliers. They've moved on. So we had to reintroduce ourselves in some cases. Some stuck with us throughout. In fact, I'm going to shout out Safran, because Safran is our crash-resistant fuel system. That project started in the late 2018 or so.
Wow.
They stuck with us throughout everything
Very
and
cool.
have been a very good partner to finish that project with. But bearings, gears, any other components, very difficult. So we found ourselves reintroducing ourselves to these entities. Plus, we're buying smaller volumes, so we're paying a little more than we'd like. And quality issues as well. In many cases, we've had large batches that were going to satisfy our need, only to have them not pass our inspections.
Yeah.
Bearings, gears, we now have introduced and have 2 separate gear houses supplying our gears. We do not ever want to be in that situation again where we have a potential single point failure. Likewise, bearings, we are working with numerous different bearing houses. Our owner may or may not have bought one.
The power of money.
Yes, but to be reliant on a single entity, and a lot of these are smaller machine shops and what have you, it's risky. So we're trying to alleviate or diminish that risk wherever we can.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart, right? You have to hedge a little bit.
One of the big goals was to satisfy that core group, the folks flying already when we reopened. And it took a while. There were some delays that were made us sick. Again, I know we're not unique in that, but again, word here from our operators is that it's much improved. I've got our VP of product support here at the floor as well, experienced mechanic, pilot, the whole works. So he's able to answer their questions, but the word is we're being much more responsive.
Good.
And we want to keep improving that.
I mean, it's important, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to push new helicopters out. That's important. But supporting that existing fleet, those existing customers, is probably
Critical.
more important.
It is. If they're not flying, it's just a lawn ornament.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Enstrom brand is certainly iconic. It's so fun to see the helicopter here in Europe. Thank you for bringing it.
Absolutely.
As you said, it sounded like a labor of love.
It was. We pushed hard for it. We said we have to be there. We have to be there with hardware this year.
1, 3, 5-year goal. Real quick, what are we hoping to see in the next year, the next 3 years, and the next 5 years for Enstrom?
Yeah, the short, medium, and long-term goals.
Yep.
We're going to knock out, we've got the CRFS certified, right? And 7 or so full FA projects in work. Take one off pull that string, and the rest are soon to follow. And
Wonderful.
that is true.
Like
They've all been being worked in parallel.
The important one.
Along those lines, we doubled the size of our engineering staff and have grown to that relationship we have with our FAA brethren. So the efforts we've put into are starting to pay off. So those will be done in the coming months. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're really turning our focus then outward, because we can actually say, what color would you like? And when would you like it?
I love that.
So that's the goal now coming up this year, along the lines of getting these service centers. We've announced service center and dealers in a couple cases, more to follow.
Cool. To
get that network built up. And in the medium term then, as we build up our production and get through the certs, is a stack of engineering improvements. There had been a smaller piston helicopter in development through the 2000 teens that was shelved, but not for naught. There was a lot of learning done and a lot of improvements and weight savings that we have in our back pocket. It's a matter of now taking our resources at engineering and focusing on the ones that have the best benefit to improve our helicopter performance. That's in that medium range goal. Long term, we know we want to look at improving our drive system. The 480B in its configuration with the turbine and the belt drive and the pinion gear and ring gear scenario can be improved upon. It works well, but the next step would be a bigger engine and a slightly bigger cockpit. We are not going to go big.
It's already pretty big.
No, big as that one behind us.
Yeah, big.
There's room right there in the middle. For where you feel we'd be a perfect fit.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. Todd, thank you so much for coming on the Helicopter Podcast. I know it's a busy show, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to finally chat with you. I see you on LinkedIn. I've seen you at the shows, but we haven't really had a huge opportunity to connect.
Nope.
I did connect with you in Madrid.
Yes.
So we chatted.
That's where we first met.
My wife was there as well. She didn't get to come. We had our first kid 5 months ago. So we weren't bringing a baby to Europe.
No.
That didn't sound like very much fun.
No.
So she's back home. To our listeners, you guys, thanks so much for listening. I've been able to have cool conversations with cool people like Todd doing awesome things in the industry because you guys choose to listen, which is really awesome. MHM Publishing, of course, for bringing me here to Europe and allowing me to have this platform and this voice is awesome. And of course, to guests like Todd, who create amazing content. So Todd, thank you so much for coming on. Have a wonderful day too. It's we're in it. We
are in it.
We can get through it.
Yes.
These shows it's a sprint, right?
They are. They're intense.
But it's also a bit of a marathon, right? I'm pretty worn out already. But it's just so fun. The energy is great. So enjoy the rest of the show. And to our listeners, thanks for listening.
Thanks, all.
Thanks, Todd.
Please stay tuned for a final word from our sponsors.
Thank you to our sponsor, Metro Aviation. Metro Aviation, the world's largest family-owned air medical operator, offers comprehensive aircraft services with 140 plus aircraft in over 25 states. The Completion Center installs medical and law enforcement kits and avionics, serving diverse aviation needs including offshore, utility, VIP, and corporate sectors. Thank you to our sponsor, Enstrom Helicopter Corporation. Enstrom Helicopter Corporation welcomes the new 480B Elite to its fleet, fully loaded with all the top-of-the-line features, including Garmin G500H, electric air conditioning, Genesis 3-axis autopilot, exclusive paint and interior, and more. Secure your spot at enstromhelicopter.com.
As always, a special thanks to HeliCASTS for producing this podcast. Specializing in helicopter evaluations, faster sales, and superb service, HeliCASTS is the go-to agency for clients expecting immediate results. HeliCASTS' team of helicopter professionals are the best in the business. Using their aviation expertise, a nationwide network, and a proprietary 76-step listing strategy, HeliCASTS will convert your listing from Mayday to payday. Ready to get started? Text HeliCASTS to 1-855-HeliCASTS. That's HeliCASTS to 1-855-735-5226. And a HeliCASTS pilot agent will reach out. HeliCASTS. List it, sell it, done.